Dear Notion team and Notion community, I am Mathieu Dulon, a French composer, and I am very pleased to announce that I have made presets for the Cinematic Studio Strings and Cinematic Studio Solo Strings by Alex Walbank and his team for use into Notion. Before we get started, I want to apologize for my English and all of the mistakes I will make during this video, but I try to do it in English so that everyone can understand what I am saying. So, first you have to download my presets and drag the Cinematic Studio Strings folder into, on Mac, User, Documents, Notion, Presets. If the two folders are not already there, you can create it. If we look at the content of the folder, we have a preset file, an instruments folder in which we have all the sections of the Cinematic Studio Strings, so violins 1, 2, violas, cellos, basses, and the Cinematic Studio Solo Strings, violin solo, viola solo, cello solo, and just in case, the rules, the custom Notion rules that I have done for these. So now we are going to see how it works in Notion. So now we are in Notion. So first thing first, let's create a new score, and the Cinematic Studio Strings presets should be under VST presets. I have lots of presets here, but your Cinematic Studio Strings preset should be shown under preset Cinematic Studio Strings, and you have here all your sections. So let's create a new string ensemble. And now we can customize our layout. And we are ready to go. So now we are going to look at all of the short articulation that we have at our disposal. So let's enter a few notes. So the first short that we have is notated staccato, but it played the spiccato patch of Cinematic Studio Strings because I find myself using this articulation more than the staccato by Cinematic Studio Strings, so I made this personal choice. So it sounds like this. After that, we have the spiccato articulation, which is on Cinematic Studio Strings the staccatissimo patch. It's a little longer than the spiccato, and it sounds like this. The staccato by Cinematic Studio Strings, and it's in Notion it's mezzo staccato, and it sounds like this. Recently, 2 days ago, I found a way to work with accents. And it's available for all the articulation I showed you earlier. And the same applies for the mezzo staccato patch. So we have other shorts like pizzicato. I don't know if you know this trick, but for me it's on the keyboard K4, and we can enter pizz, and it shows pizz, and like that it will play pizz. We can do the same. We can do the same thing. Oh, my English. With col legno. I'm just typing col, and it shows col legno. The Bartok pizzicatos. Vibrato pizzicatos. So that's all the shorts that we have. The way to do this is to press the X key twice to have the diamond head for the notes, and we have this way we have the measured tremolos, and it's tempo synced. So if we are a bit faster, it's and there it is for the measured trems, and we will have a look at the long articulations now. Before I talk about this, let me just say that the cinematic studio strings and solo strings comes with some delay. There is a delay between G and A a delay between A and B, and a delay between B and C. I'm translating to French note names in French to English. But the first note is right on the beat. So if I just play this, I don't know if it's clear, but the first note is a little longer than the others. So I will replay this. Because the other notes are delayed and not the first one. So what we need to do is be in sequencer mode, which is in English it's show sequencer overlay. It's also the tab key, and we just have to delay the first note slightly to the right, like this, and it should be as long as the others. This is the tremolo, which sounds like this. The harmonics, which are the symbol is the shortcut is O on my keyboard. We can have it here, and it sounds like this. And we have trills. Sorry, this look on the score, but it works as it is, so I let it here. So if we want, sorry, French comes in, and if we want to have a whole step trills, we have this. So it works, but it's not the way that it should be notated on the score. There is other cases when you might be wanting to adjust the beginning of the notes, sometimes with tremolos, trills, and harmonics. In some cases, like this one, if we compile this context notation, you will see that the violin ones will be in advance, will be before the violins too. So we might want to delay this a little bit so this can play in time with other playing styles and other sections. So you have mezzo forte, it plays mezzo forte. So we have mezzo forte, we have all the basically all the marker works, the dynamic marker works. We have even 4p, and we have fortissimo, I don't know. So, and it responds to hairpins, yes, hairpins, of course. So you can drag things like that. And one little trick I found, it's a feature of Notion. If you want that mezzo forte to be here, but it's not soft enough, you can do this. After MF, mezzo forte, you can write -1. It's mezzo forte -1 means that it will be notated mezzo forte, but it will sound like a mezzo piano. If we have -2, it will means piano, and so on, -3, pianissimo. And we can have the inverse. It's +1. +1 means it's mezzo forte, but it sounds like forte. Again, fortissimo. And we have also other things like -0.5. 0.5 means a MIDI value between mezzo forte and mezzo piano. I've set the MIDI values, but I don't remember. Mezzo forte should be 64, I think. This would be 127, and this one is 1. It's not 0, it's 1. It's not O, it's 1, because O in MIDI values does not work properly in Notion. So a nuance, a MIDI value between mezzo forte and mezzo piano, we can have a -0.2, -0.8. It works like that. We can have also -1.8. Maybe not, and it sounds like this. Let's be quite extreme here. Well, we can have this, so very fortissimo and very quiet, but it's notated like this. And if we want, we can hide all of these items like this, and have view show items disabled. And we have just notate the mezzo forte here, but so it's a way very convenient to work with the dynamics and applying more life into the samples. Also have that compromise to have a score that is that looks good, if you know what I mean. So that's the little trick I wanted to explain. It took me sometimes, but I hope that it will be useful to you. Some weeks ago, I have found a way to integrate the rebowing technique. Some of you will like it, some other might find it a little weird, but it's here if you want it. Let's have another instrument. Violins are good, but let's play with cellos, my instruments. So like that, it would not work properly. I show you. Let's hear more. So the way I found before I found my trick that I will show you was that I have to delay again another note, the second note, to have this played. So here it works, but I have found a better solution. Another solution. It's maybe not better, but I have not found a rule to apply this to note after the same. I don't really know how that works. So if you guys know how to do this, help will be highly appreciated. But for now, I have found this. it works like this. You can place the pedal marker anywhere on the score before the second note. So here or here, there is no problem. Let's notate here. And you have to mark in the score to apply the score this end pedal markers usually at the end of the melody and hide them because there is no need for them to be here, and they will play correctly the melody. Let's hear it. Now it plays correctly. Just something to say here is there is just one thing I should say about this is if you play it and stop before this end marker, if you replay it, it will play like this. There is this little transition that are played here, so it's not really an issue, but if you want to export audio, make sure you are playing until this, so if we replay, it will play like normally. We have stop it here, so if we play it, it plays normally. So it's my trick to integrate rebowing technique. It's not perfect again, but I think it works. It's by default is molto vibrato, which sounds like this. Again, I will just do this. Okay, and this is molto vibrato, and if we want non-vibrato, again I press the 4 key on my keyboard, and if I type NONV, we have non-vib, and I place it here, and I think it's good for long notes. I would use it for that. But I will use for regular use maybe the vibrato technique more. I chose molto vibrato because what I'm here is molto vibrato. So you have to type 4 MOLT, and we have molto vibrato, and we are back again to the sound that we are hearing before. If you really want to write Divisi lines, of course, with the Cinematic Studio strings, the legato is mono by default, which means that we can't play two notes at the same time. If you really want to write Divisi lines, which are very common in classical music, it's to create another stuff, like we can see this in Debussy's work, where violins are divided into two staffs. It is very common, so we have to adjust this. You can choose the layout that you want, but and now we can write other lines, and it will play like a Divisi. This is one way to work with Divisi, and there is another way, but if you don't want to have two staffs for violins one thing you can do is to go here, change instrument, or the shortcut Shift I, and you need to select the second staff, choose staff voice 2, click OK, and assign it to violins 1, like this. And now we can write here multi-voice, enter in voice 2, and doing things. It's not musical, but it's not the purpose of this video. And to show voice colors. And we have, and now it's polyphonic. Sorry, it's we can write Divisi like this. You can hide it, and you can also hide this stuff. And there is a way to write. This is a way to write Divisi if you really want to have this, and it works pretty well, I think. So this is it. I let you with a piece, a test piece that I wrote to test some of the techniques. There it is. And don't forget to use some tempo stuff here. CSSS, so Cinematic Studio Solo Strings and Cinematic Studio Strings. I have done a lot of movements in dynamics, but as I said earlier, if we do this, it disappears. Okay, so here it is. So to be continued. Okay, I hope that this tutorial has been useful, and I'm very sorry for all my and my very bad English. I hope that you can understand me that way. And I hope that this preset will benefit you. I use it on a regular basis, and this Cinematic Studio Strings and Notion is my main working tool. I'm a composer for film and video games, and I use it as my main tool. And I will do some other presets for Freja, Wotan, and Simmer percussion, and they will be available in the Notion forum as well as on my website. Thank you for watching, and I see you soon. Bye bye.